Hey y'all, it's Jen and welcome back to my channel, Inklings. Today's video is going to be my February wrap-up. And it's a little bit better than January, so that's good. If it sounds like someone's trying to blow my house down, it's because it is. The wind here is atrocious today, so we're just gonna work with it, okay? Because the lighting is fantastic. So let's get on to my February wrap-up. Okay guys, so I've got my bullet journal here and this is what it looks like. I read 5 books. Of those 5 books, we had 2 contemporary, 1 strictly romance, and 2 literary fiction books. 2 were YA, 3 were adult. 4 of them were standalones, 1 of them was part of a series. And 4 of them were all authors that I had never read before, and then 1 was an author that I have read previously. All in all, I had a pretty good month. I listened to 29 hours and 29 minutes in audio format, and the total page count for the month was 1,657 pages. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I did only read 5 books, so I don't know what happened in February. I guess I was just starting to come out of my reading slump, and it was a short month, and it was just, you know, all of the things. So let's just dive into this first one. The first one I finished for the month was Clap When You Land by Elizabeth Acevedo, and this one I listened to audio from my library. I gave it 5 stars. It was fantastic. It's told in prose, so the audiobook goes by very fast, and I really like the format of that. I need to pick up some more of Elizabeth Acevedo's books because I hear they're wonderful. I don't often read books in prose, but I found that I really enjoyed the way she told her story and how it flowed together, and it kind of was very sing-songy, I guess, because it just kind of flowed really well. So the basis behind this is that we have one sister who lives in the Dominican Republic. Her father lives in New York, and she thinks that he is there because he's just trying to make a life for her in New York before he sends for her. Her mother has passed away. I don't remember why. Breast cancer maybe, but she lives with her, I want to say her aunt. I think it's her aunt she lives with. Anyway, her entire goal is to get to New York, to the United States, to go to college and make a life of her own. So her father comes back and visits for a couple of months every summer. Her birthday is in June, and her father comes down and spends her birthday and everything with her, and then goes back at the end of the summer. So what happens is that when he is on his way to see her in the Dominican Republic, his plane crashes, and there are no survivors. The sisters didn't know about each other, and so they find out about each other, and they're grieving their father and coming to terms with this new found sibling, and life in the Dominican and life in New York, and just all of the things. And it was really told really well. I enjoyed it for as much as you can enjoy that type of story. Definitely hard-hitting contemporary. The next book that I read was Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. I listened to this on audio that I checked out from my library, and I gave it 5 stars. I love the Brown sisters. I absolutely love the Brown sisters. And this one has one of my favorite tropes, which is the fake dating trope. And you can't get better than that. So basically what happens here is the security guard at Dani's work is also trying to make a name for himself. He founded a sports league that helps mentor young men through their emotions. And there was a fire alarm in their building, and he ends up rescuing her from the elevator and carrying her out. And people took pictures of it, and it went viral, and they just assumed he was dating. And through this, it really helped out his business. So they decided to carry on with the trope, keep the farce going for a little while. And of course, you know, obviously it turns out that they like each other. Anyway, I really enjoyed it, and I gave it 5 stars. So the next book that I read was The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. Again, I gave this one 5 stars too. This is a literary fiction novel. We follow Nora, who is desperate to end her life because she thinks she's worthless and there's no reason to live because she messes everything up that she touches. So when she ends up in the Midnight Library, which is a place that houses every option of life that she, you know, if she had made a different decision, how would her life have turned out? Whatever her regrets were, how would she can go and live that life and see if it makes her happy. I found this concept very interesting. I've always found this type of concept in a book very interesting. Movies too, that butterfly effect kind of thing. Always fascinated by that, and this one was no different, and I loved it. 5 stars for sure. And I don't think I'm doing a good enough doing this book justice, but there was so many different times that I thought, oh yeah, I can relate to that. Oh yeah, I've been there. You know, yeah, if I'd done something different, my life may have turned out this way and have been glamorous, but then I wouldn't have all this other stuff. You know, what would I be missing out on if I took a different path? All in all, like I said, I found this concept of this book interesting, and I found the story told very well. I found it easy to read, and it kept my attention, and the writing was great. So the next book that I finished was Luster by Leilani, and I gave this one 3 stars. And I don't know how to really talk about this book. The concept behind it is this girl is having an affair with a married man, and it's that tragic tale. I don't think this book doesn't last more than, I don't know, a few months, but the wife knows about it. There's a kid involved. The whole concept of this book was dark and tragic and violent, and depressing. There was nothing hopeful or happy or anything. I don't even know what words I want to use. I do have an issue with infidelity, and I typically don't read books that is in, and especially books that make it seem like it's an acceptable part of life. And although going into this book from the beginning, I knew that was the main focus of the story, I think this book was trying to do so much, and there were so many different storylines and that it could have gone down, and none of them seemed to be really fleshed out. And the ending was just so abrupt that, I mean, it just ended, and I was like, that's it? That's the end? That's where we're leaving it? I mean, the way it ended, where it ended, didn't even really make a lot of sense. And it just, like I said, none of the storylines were really fully fleshed out. So I gave it 3 stars. The final book that I've completed in February was You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This is a young adult contemporary fiction book. It has a slight little romance in it, but nothing, just kind of the beginning of a high school romance type thing. We have queer characters in this book. Obviously our main character is black and she is also queer, and she is desperately trying to get into a college, and the only way that she's going to be able to go to the college of her dreams is by winning the scholarship for making homecoming queen. And that is a tough feat because she's black and she's queer, and that is just not something that's really acceptable in her small town. So she's got this cards, the deck is stacked against her from the beginning. I really like the way the story was told. I really like how it flowed and progressed, and I like that there wasn't anything really tragic about this story. It wasn't, it was a nice, heartfelt, warm, heartwarming story, and I really enjoyed that. Like I said, I gave it 5 stars. I listened to this on audio that I checked out from my library. So that is it. Those are the books that I read this month. Let me know down below if you have read any of them, and if you have, what you thought of. Let me know if you're going to read any of them based on my wrap up here. I would like to know that as well too. So before we end this, if you've enjoyed this video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. Again, that lets me know if you like this content or if you don't like the content. So now what you're going to see on the screen is going to be a playlist of my past wrap-ups. You can see the books that I've read in previous months and what I thought of them, and also a video that YouTube thinks would be good for you to watch. You'll have to let me know how they did. And until next time, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you later. Bye now.